Good afternoon. This is Sunday, April 22nd. This is AM Dreamingstitcher here to bring you my latest update on what I've been doing in the world of cross stitch. I have a finish for you, a little bit of progress to show, some updates on my Mania plans, and possibly other near future plans. And if you want to bear with me at the end, my own version of the great Hobby Lobby haul from my three trips there. Okay, well, let's get right into this. I don't want it to be a terribly long video. The light may look a little odd because it's gone kind of cloudy outside for some reason, and so I'm not getting a lot of natural light. So I've put on one of my stitching lamps. I don't know what that's going to do for the light for you all, but at least I'll be able to tell that you can see something, even if it is kind of washed out. So I'm going to jump right into my finish, which is the Torah stitch project that I have been doing. It is ready for me to ship back to the project managers. I'm just kind of waiting for my sister's next visit so I can show her how it looks. But my verses were from Numbers, and I finished stitching them. I think the last time I saw you I was almost done anyway with the stitching, and I asked you about, oh goodness, how do we get this in front of the camera, about my plan for the borders. And some of you were kind enough to say that yes, it did look like what it's supposed to be, which is little tiny birds, because in this project they say one ongoing theme that they have is birds, so that anywhere you want to add birds to the design is fine with them. So that's what I've done. I was afraid to go any further down because I'm not sure how close I am to their mandatory cutoff for the bottom, and I decided against adding any other designs in that open space. I couldn't really think of anything that was particularly appropriate to the verse, and I thought I'd just settle for my borders. But it is done. Said maybe you can't see the color so great, but there it is. Little birds all the way down. I'm just going to have to check this video when I'm done and see how bad the lighting is. But I will get that in the mail as soon as my sister gets to see it. I'm so happy that I got it done on time. I was worried for a while that that wouldn't get done. As I've been saying all along, it's a great honor to be able to participate in that project and to know that at least one piece of my stitching will live on beyond me, because we can't always be guaranteed that. Okay, I have a little bit of progress on other works to show you. I did a very small amount today because of my focus starting to shift towards Mania coming up. But mostly, besides the Torah stitch, the one thing I worked on was my eBay purchase, the little 1987 carousel horse that I've showed you a couple of times from Bernat. I want to say I'm pretty impressed with these materials. I've been meaning to tell you I'm stitching it in accordance with the directions on the provided Aida. It's a 14 count Aida fabric with the kitted threads, and this is really nice thread. This is the last bit of yellow I was working on. You can see that's a pretty long piece. That's not even as long as what they provided in the kit. You know, it's your usual 36-ish inch strands. There's the end of the piece I was stitching with. There's more. I don't cut these. I mean, I divide them into the 3 strands that I need, but this floss is so nice it almost never knots. Almost never. And I don't even cut it. I just separate and stitch. It's nice. Usually most flosses DMC whatever. They knot up and frustrate me like crazy, but not this. So here's where I am on the carousel horse. And I don't know how weird the light's going to be for you. I'm sorry. The last time I showed her, she had her middle section there with the saddle and her belly. She didn't yet have this decorative part filled in the center. I had the top of the tail done. So I've now finished. There's got to be a way to get that light a little better. I don't know. I've now finished the bottom of the tail and all of her She had the mane last time, but now she's got a face. She had a little bit of the flowers in the neck. She's got all the rest of her neck, all of her chest, that first front legs. All of that's new. Okay, so I've made some progress on her. I just don't know if this light's going to be acceptable, but it's got to be better than having no light at all. How's that? So she's coming along. She obviously still has a ways to go, and I haven't done a thing with the border, but that's progress. My Stitch Mania plans. Last time I spoke to you, I said that I wanted to knock out 1 or 2 projects so that I could meet my plans. Oh, look, there's some sunlight coming in. That might help. My plans were to spend, since it's 2018, 18 minutes per day for the first 18 days on each of my WIPs, so I wanted to get some of my works in progress out of the way. I haven't finished anything but the Torah stitch. When I said I thought that would add up to 140 some minutes per day given the number of WIPs I had, I was actually counting the Torah stitch as one of them. Now that's out of the way. I decided that I still want to stitch on every WIP the equivalent of 18 minutes a day times 18 days. That means in order to see progress on my works, I would like to spend 18 times 18, or 5 hours and 24 minutes on each project within that first 18 days. Whether I spend an hour on one, or 2 on another, or 18 minutes here, 18 minutes there, my goal is to spend the amount of time that would be equivalent to having 18 minutes per day per WIP for the first 18 days. So I actually started looking at a couple of my WIPs just today. I did a little bit of stitching on the back stitch for Fateful Night. I've still got such a long way to go, but all it's going to involve is back stitching and French knots and so on. So I did do some of that on the this little crow's nest and some of the upper decks there. A little bit today, about 1 strand is all I worked on. Still obviously have a long way to go with that. And my other progress, very small amount. I pulled out the rabbit and I just felt like doing him, and did a little bit of this color over his shoulder here. Not much. I'm just kind of warming up to the idea of doing a little bit on each project. So I figure after I put in 5 hours and 24 minutes in the month of May on this, because that's my goal, 18 minutes a day times 18 days, or the equivalent thereof, I should be able to see some real progress on each one of them. So I've got 7 works in progress remaining, including the carousel horse and the Fateful Night and the rabbit and the other 4 that I've shown you. And I hope to make some really visible progress on them if I can stick with my goals. We'll have to see. Okay, something else I had to show you. I went digging around looking for a little piece of vintage cross stitch that I had. We used to have a couple of towels that had handmade, clearly handmade cross stitch bands on them, and one of them I know got worn out, kind of turned into a rag. I don't know what's happened to it, if it got thrown away or what, because it really was raggedy. But I was digging around and I found this smaller towel, just a little hand towel, and it is a match for the one I was trying to find. This is definitely a hand-stitched band. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but some of the X's don't all go in the same direction. It's all hand embroidered. Even the edges of the band have been stitched over by hand, I have no doubt. And things like that is just fun to find and see what people did in the past. And I'm particularly impressed that I don't know if it had been a stamped piece. You know, if maybe the band itself was already cut out and stamped, or if they had to do it all themselves. I don't know. If anybody else is familiar with this design and has seen it somewhere in the past, let me know. I'd be curious. But it has, yellowed a little bit over time. The green and the blue have faded. They're pulling out in some places. But, it's been used. People actually use their stitching. So I don't know what happened to the larger towel, which was much wider. But there's this little hand towel, and I still have that to remember the original stitching by. So there's a little visit with some vintage stitching. I don't know if I can get that close enough for you to see that some of the Here and there the X's don't all cross in the same place. Mostly they do. But somebody, and I don't know what age the stitcher was when they did that. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, there's a sale coming up on floss at Joann. I'm going to try to make it there. It's about a week away. Starts next Thursday. And I thought, well, if I do go in, what will my goals be? What will I try to kit up? So I'm just going to show you. I have a couple of charts that I got last year that I think I'm going to try to get the floss for, because I really like these. I believe I ordered them off of eBay, but I adore those. They're this one's, if it were on 14 count it would be 11.5 by 18.14. This one on 14 count would be 12 by 18.86. That's inches measurements. The stitch count is 151 by 249 and 145 by 246. So very similar in size. And I just like them. And I want to get the flosses for them so that I can do them sometime. The other thing that I would kit up, if I can, with flosses from the sale, is something I picked up at Hobby Lobby. On my third visit there, somebody had moved this to the cross-stitch section. I don't know where they usually had it. But it's just a pattern. I debated whether or not to get it, because it's only a pattern with a piece of fabric. But a big piece of fabric. It's 31 inches, I think they said. Yeah, 31 by 31. And a yarn card telling you what colors you need and everything. When I picked that up, it's like, do I want to spend that much for something that doesn't even include the floss? And I decided, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I always wanted some kind of nativity scene, and I don't know if that's the best there is on offer, but I decided to give it a try. So I've shown you my finish, I've shown you my progress, what little there was on a couple of those, but pretty visible on the horse. I've shown you the vintage stitching I found. I've told you about the revision to my Maynia plans. I'm still going to do every WIP in the first 18 days. I'm still going to do 18 minutes per WIP, but it's not going to be 18, 18, 18. It's going to be the total 5 hours, 24 minutes within an 18-day span on each WIP. So the last thing I have to show you, I said I'd keep this one kind of short, is my Hobby Lobby haul. Yeah, I gotta stop shopping. I have so many things I want to make. So many. And I've ordered some other things lately. I have an order coming from so-and-so, just a small one, 3 pieces. I have an order from the Stitchery, 2 pieces. I just got something from eBay. I'm sorry, I don't remember the floss tuber's name, but her channel is COLLBN, Colbin. This is your fault, the one that came from eBay. It was the bunny hop from Needle Treasures. When you showed that, I went shopping as soon as I saw it. She and I can't recall if I've ever commented on her videos. She probably doesn't know I exist, but we have a lot of the same tastes. She was doing a kind of a stash sort to decide what she would and wouldn't keep, and a lot of the, at least half a dozen of the things she showed, I have. And now I have one more because I went and ordered that. But yeah, we seem to have similar tastes, and she loves to stitch the bunnies first. I don't stitch the bunnies first, but yeah, I love bunnies. Anyway, I do get influenced by other floss tubers sometimes. And so when watching another floss tuber, I found out about Hobby Lobby clearancing so many of their items. Now I want to preface this by saying that you're not really saving as much there as it sounds like. Yes, they marked them down 75%, but their normal everyday prices are too high, people. When they give you those 40% off coupons, that actually brings items down into the range that is much more natural and what they should be. And I can prove this, that they're overpriced. I have a visual aid today. On my third visit, I was thinking embroidery, and I picked up a beginner's embroidery kit to try to help me get better at it. It has these 12 little designs, of which I only like maybe a quarter of them. Well, I can't say I don't like the others, of which I can only picture myself stitching maybe a quarter of them. but I thought that'll help me get a little more comfortable and adept with embroidery. But what I want to show you is here is the manufacturer's suggested prices, $19.99 US dollars, $24.99 Canadian dollars, $14.99 pounds. And then up here we have another price tag with the price of $19.99. Here was their price, $24.99. So their everyday price was already $5 more than the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Okay, so $6.25 is a fair amount. But when I think of how much I spent at Hobby Lobby, I think in terms of saving about half. I don't look at it as saving 75%. So I went in because of seeing this other floss tuber mention the sale a couple weeks ago. And I wasn't sure I'd find anything, but I left with, including tax, $119 worth of goodies. And after I get home, there were more preying on my mind. There were. I had to go back. I couldn't go back right away. You know, I had that go buy it urge. I would have gone back right off, except I had an air conditioning repairman coming. And the air conditioning repairman came, and the problem was just a couple of fuses. That was good news. But he also took me out back and showed me that the air conditioner was not pumping out air in sufficient quantities and was making a horrible noise. And what it really needed for more efficiency was to have the motor replaced. So I won't say what that bill was, but it was more than a few $100s. And yet I still went back to Hobby Lobby after he was done because they were on my mind. So I made a second trip that day, only spent about half as much as my first trip. And then a few days ago, well, maybe a week ago, I went and made a third trip, which I hope will be my last. I thought about going yesterday. I thought there's nothing left. You have rated that place. I've looked at all the beautiful things you all have shown. My Hobby Lobby didn't have all the things you've shown. Many of you have made purchases that I was not interested in. I just wasn't. But I sure looked. I sure looked several times. But the third visit, I spent not quite as much as the second visit. So I know you've seen everybody's loot over and over again. Loot slipped up there. Haul acquisitions. I was introduced, or perhaps reintroduced, to a term by yet another floss tuber recently. She was a new one, and she mentioned the term sable, stash acquired beyond life expectancy, and said that she was 3 times sable. And I think I might have heard that term once many years ago. I'd forgotten about it until she reintroduced it, and I looked it up. And yeah, I'm sable many times over, no doubt about it. So here's a little more of that. So I got some small ones, I got some large ones. This was visit 1, and neither of those things I just showed you were visit 1. Those were visit 2, I believe. Maybe even 2 and 3. So I got some little things. I already had this, but I wasn't 100% sure that I could pass up a chance to have a second one in case I knew somebody that wanted one. Don't ask. Okay, I've looked at this a number of times. It's probably not my favorite of the realist ones, but they don't carry the others. And I just thought I want to try it. It's a small kit. It has these fibers that they use that are different, and I have some larger kits that I definitely want to make, but this will give me a chance to work with those fibers and discover what it takes to make them work well. How annoying they're going to be. Just something small to sort of break me in on Reolus. Oh, I used a 40% off coupon. So some of my purchase was not even on sale. But I thought if they're clearancing so many things, what if they start getting rid of their linens too? I already own this one. But I got this for a friend who has been known to cross stitch. I know she cleared out her stash. But she loves cats. And I thought, I don't need to make that for her. I have it to make for me, frankly. But I could get this one for her because look, when I need a present for her, she does cross stitch. She loves cats. Why not get her that? You know, they're cheap. The other little one on that visit, nope, there's more. No, the other. Several more small ones. I couldn't remember if I had this. I've been looking at it, looking at it, couldn't remember, went ahead and got it. Okay, I have not found it here at home. I don't think I did have it already. So I now have a mushroom. These are generally overpriced. $20 for 2 little bookmarks seems high, but they are imports. $5 for 2 little bookmarks did not seem so bad. So, kits. Nice kits. I like this one. It's actually on even weave. They say, it's a little odd looking to me, but there is an even weave fabric in there. It looks more like linen than the other even weaves I have, but truth be told, I've never actually stitched on an even weave. I have another kit that I've had for a little while that's even weave. I have some in my fabric stash, but this would be the first one where I actually use it. And like I said, it looks very linen-like to me. I don't know. Maybe that's the way it is. I think I may have told you in a video. I won't swear to it, because if you've been counting my numbers, you may notice there was no flosstube 19. I filmed a flosstube 19. I uploaded the flosstube 19. I never published it because I wasn't happy with it, and I did a stitch with me instead. So that's why you won't see flosstube 19 in there. But that might be the one where I mentioned that I don't like the Disney Dreams kits. If I didn't mention it there, I did mention it in an earlier one. I don't like the colors. Every era has its own aesthetic and color palette. The ones these days are very modern for their time. They're going to look dated in a few years because they're going to look like the, like the era they're from. But all these, think of the British cross-stitch magazines, and I look at the cover images, and it's all these oranges and blues and yellows and pinks. Everything is really intense. Okay, that's everything. You look at it and all the patterns are really intense. So that's very dated for its time. And it's nice now, and we like it now, and if you love it, get it, stitch it, but it's not going to stay nice. Anyway, what I'm leading up to is, as I mentioned in another video, published or unpublished, the Disney Dreams kits makes me nauseous. They nauseate me. The colors are too intense. They make me sick to my stomach. I won't even go to the details. But I do have Snow White Discovers the Forest. I saw another Discovers the Cottage, excuse me. I saw another flosstuber doing that one long ago and fell in love with it and bought it then because it's just beautiful. And looking at all the choices they've ever had, didn't really want any of them, but I actually let myself get suckered into this one because it's just a small piece of the design. It looks like sunset. I don't think it would make me sick to do this one. And it's nicely composed. I was also looking at the one with Eeyore and Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. I love Eeyore, but I didn't like the composition. There was an awful lot of brown. The colors were a little off. It just didn't do anything for me. This one, he's obviously the centerpiece. It's well composed. I can see myself trying them. Oh, and I love Fantasia. I love Fantasia. My dad liked it. He took us to see it when we were kids. I once bought him a program from the 1940 premiere. I had it on the soundtrack on LP records, and then on DVD, CDs, obviously. And we had the film on VHS. We had the film on DVD. I love Fantasia, so if I was going to get any Disney thing, that would be it. I was into the small ones on first visit. There were large ones on first visit to Hobby Lobby too. I haven't seen anyone show this one, I don't think. You've shown lots of beautiful map stitchings. I have no United States map stitchings. And this was cheap enough that I thought, won't I stitch that? I like some of the motifs. I can see myself maybe getting the urge to make it someday. I have so many other things to stitch, and only one life to stitch them in. But whenever I see you all showing off your beautiful maps, I'll be able to say, hey, I got a map. It'll keep me from looking for more, I think. Sometimes it's a preventative purchase. By having that, I'm not going to feel I need to go out and get something because I've got that. This one, I wasn't too sure about. It's beautiful. I like the aesthetic. It has that Asian kind of feel that I like. But the background's pre-printed. I've never done one that's pre-printed. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to like that. But then again, there's less stitching that way. So I don't know. I decided I would give it a try. It wasn't cheap. No, it was never worth $60. But you know, $15 is not an unreasonable price for what this is. And I will give it a try and see, because I do like the aesthetic of that. I just don't know if I'm going to like the pre-printed parts. I'm not sure how to feel about that, or how easy it is to line up the stitched part of the design with the pre-printed background. You know, is it printed properly so that everything lines up right? I don't know. I've never done one. I decided to take a chance on it. I also got a couple of stunning Théa Gouverneurs. This one is even prettier on black, but they don't sell it on black. This is what it would look like on black. All of these flower designs are beautiful. They only carried a few. So I got that one because it is just gorgeous, and no way was I ever going to spend $70 or even 40% off to get that. $17.50 I can manage. And this one, another Théa that I thought was quite beautiful. Suits me. That's the other thing I want to kit up. Besides those two I showed you, I want to kit up some flowers I showed you that I got last year. A chart. If you're not completely bored, I may pause this at the end and show you that, because if I can get some floss, I'm definitely going to look for that. And then the other two items were not cross-stitch from first visit. One was needlepoint, which I've looked at over and over again and was always put off by the colors being quite unnatural, because really the floss is as blue as it looks. You know, the orange is as orange as it looks. Those are not natural colors for fruit people, but I like still lifes. I've been looking at this one over and over and over, so I thought and thought and thought, and I thought, for $5, you keep looking at it, go ahead and get it. And this one is black work, and I always thought it was beautiful. I don't know that I would have bought it if they hadn't marked it down, because I didn't want to spend anything like $24.99 for it. But it's just beautiful. It has that Art Nouveau, sorry, I'm having trouble talking today, feeling to it. Yeah, I want to make that. That is just, it is what it is. Okay, so then the air conditioning guy came, and what was it that I couldn't get off my mind? What was it that I had to go back for? That would be visit number 2. And in visit number 2, what I went back for were these 2 Théa Gouverneur kits. I got a couple other things too, but this one, I couldn't get it out of my mind. It was just so beautiful, and then I came home and I thought, oh, you should have gotten that. That's also stunning on black, by the way. Beautiful. All of these are beautiful. I'm glad they didn't have them all. I'd have been in trouble. I'd have been in huge trouble. But I couldn't get that one off my mind. And I thought, do you really want to stitch that much yellow and pink and orange? I don't know, but the effect is so... I just like it. That's what dragged me back there. That and the bee. I love insects. I've shown you the dragonfly I stitched. I would have preferred this fat little bee. I actually like him much better, but they didn't carry him at Hobby Lobby. They never have, that I know of. And they're pretty on black too. But I thought, you're just going to regret it if you don't get the bee. You're going to be sorry you didn't get the bee. You're going to want to stitch that bee someday and say, I should have bought that bee. So I got the bee. And while I was there, a couple of other things found their way into my cart. They did. I think I already showed you. There were more small ones. I swear there were. Well, the embroidery kit was one, I think. I don't know. I'm starting to lose track of which was when. But this is one I looked at every time I was in the store too. And I obviously didn't get it on my first trip. But my second trip I said, oh, come on. You keep looking at it. Do it. Put it in the cart. I didn't have a cart. I was carrying them all in my hands. And I like peacocks. And yeah, there's a lot of glare. Sorry, glare is glare. You get glare when you get flosstube. Peacock. Okay, so why did I have to go back a third time? I didn't have to, but I did. I went. And one of the things I think was that thing I showed you, I'd kit up with the nativity scene on it. Okay, this was just, as I was driving back, I thought, what more do you need? What do they have that you haven't bought already? Some things I looked at 2 or 3 times and still put back. Said, no, you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that. There were plenty of things I could have gotten and I didn't. But one of the floss tubers showed this, and I already had in our store hanging next to it had been the little tree with the pears and the partridges, and right next to that the unicorn, and I've showed you both those before, and I bought each of them with coupons way back, so I didn't save 75% on them, but I saved 40. And this was next to them, and compared to them, it just wasn't as beautiful as they were in my taste. But it was so pretty too, and I thought that's another one that you will probably regret. If they have it when you go in, you need to get it. That's what you need to go look for. See if they have that, and then you can check everything else and find out what's what. And they still had it, so I got it. So what else did I get that I didn't need? A lot of things. I didn't need this, folks. I already have this. I've showed this to you. I have this needlepoint. Also purchased originally with a 40% off coupon. So why did I go back and spend another $7.50? 2 reasons. One, I've never done an artiste needlepoint before, but I have done, as you saw, that Lucilla needlepoint that ran out. I'm sorry, I'm just looking over my shoulder where I have it hanging. I ran out of wool on that, and it was frustrating, and I had to go to my not-so-local needlework shop and find some wool that could replace it. Actually, I think I stole some from another kit. I did both. The color that I really ran out of, I had to pirate out of another kit, which means when I make that kit, I'm not going to have enough wool. And 2 or 3 other colors I matched up with what was at my not-so-local needlework shop. So, knowing that Busilla could run out of wool, maybe it's just my needlepointing technique, I don't know. I thought if I get this, then when I make mine, I do not have to worry about the wool. I have all this wool, so that if I run out stitching the one I already had, that $7.50 plus tax pays for my wool supply. Okay? And if I don't run out, I can have 2. What's wrong with 2? What's wrong with 2 matching cushions? I have to get somebody to help me finish them as cushions, because I don't do that well. But I think they'd make a lovely pair. And I wouldn't be able to maybe afford a pair at full price or even 40% off, but $7.50, yeah, I can afford a pair. Okay, what else did I get? Something else that I looked at a few times, not as much, but I just thought, oh, he's beautiful. He's beautiful. I can see you stitching him after stitching many other things that you have, but I can see you being taken with the idea of stitching that. Go ahead. Spend your money. What's it for? No, you have no room in your house. Yes, you've just shown people a huge pile of stuff. Yes, you're crazy. You're insane. You've done a video before about having this problem. Go ahead, throw him in the cart. Like I said, there was no cart. It's just my hands. What else did I get on that 3rd trip? Okay, I already showed you one of these. Why would I need 2? As a gift for someone else. Because the first one was for me. And I thought, hey, it gives you all the supplies you need. This is the one that had the little even weave fabric in it. And you can't really see it in this one. You could see it in the other. It's much more visible. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure that they give you more than one monogram. They've got to. They've got to give you more than one letter for this. So I'll pick the letter of the person I want to gift it to, and that'll be that. They had several of these different sachet kits. I thought about a few of them. Some of the ones they pictured on the back I would have liked even better. This was the only one that wanted to come home with me, and not for being sachets. I looked at these and I thought, you know what? If you got some of those little round frames, maybe you could finish these up as hanging ornaments. And I thought they'd be really cute hanging ornaments in the tree. I think they really would. I do. I'm looking at them and I'm thinking those would make really cute hanging ornaments. I didn't like the other choices. They had some others. Only these little guys, these owls, caught my fancy. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing with this. I don't send cards. I wouldn't spend the time on cross stitch to send somebody a card, because cards to me seem very ephemeral and people get rid of them. Or not. They stick them in a drawer, I guess, and hang on them for a long time sometimes. But there was something very charming in the retro style of this. Politically incorrect, I think, and yet charming at the same time. Something that predates even my childhood, something that says very 50s maybe. I don't know. The first 2 trips, obviously I resisted him very easily, but, well, I can't say easily. The 3rd trip I just said, that's another one that you'll regret if you don't bring him home. Even just looking at him. He looks like a really easy stitch. All 3 of them do. But it's just cute. Just looking at it will make you happy. Just look at him in the package. He's cute. He is. I like him. If my tastes ever change, I can get rid of him and I won't have to look at him anymore. But right now I like him. And the final acquisition, which leads me back to the idea that I might go back. They have a book. That was the one thing that I would have gone back for the other day, with one pattern that I like. It's a big, thick book, Modern Cross-Stitch Designs or something. I don't know what it's called. I don't like anything in there. I don't like the color patterns. I don't like the aesthetics. I don't like anything in there except one design. They have this big beetle that I adore. And I just couldn't decide, do you want to take up shelf space with something that thick with all those patterns that you're not interested in just for the one pattern? And I might, because I really like that pattern. Anyway, same deal with this. I don't like that thing on the cover, but I like this. I've liked this ever since I saw this. Oh, and by the way, Robert Fry, Robert's Palace of Stitches, is doing this for his nephew, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the one. And it's really cute. I like that. I think his is going to turn out really cute for his nephew. He doesn't know I exist. A lot of floss tubers have no idea I exist. But I watch them. But this guy, I've liked. I mean, look at the bunnies. I told you, Colbin, whatever your name actually is. I like bunnies. I do. And I like that blue Father Winter, Santa, whatever he is. So yeah, I got this one solely for that pattern. I thought, $2.50, you can get the pattern you like. Go for it. So, yeah, 3 trips to Hobby Lobby. Something really wrong upstairs. The grand total, including tax. Oh, there were other things. I didn't drag them out to show you. Needlepoint canvas. I bought up all the needlepoint canvas they had. There were 2 12 meshes and 2 14 meshes and some kind of monologue canvas. So I got those as well. And that other piece of linen I showed you, that was 40% off. The grand total with taxes for the all 3 trips, I think, was about $230, which is insane. If you think of that as being something close to 75% off, which it's not entirely, because this wasn't 75% off, this was only 40% off, then you're going to think, oh, you got $900 worth of cross-stitch stuff, but I didn't. I told you they're overpriced. They're overpriced. But still, I got $400 or $500 worth for my $230, probably. Yeah. I'm not well. But if I live long enough to stitch even a fraction of this, I'm going to enjoy it so much. I still have that new startitis going on, but I'm resisting it because I'm trying to take pleasure in what I'm stitching now. And it was kind of fun to go back this morning and work on things like the back stitch on this guy. Let's get the shipwright set up. You know, I have to fall in love with the projects I'm already doing again. And I have to enjoy them for what they are, and I do want to do them. There was another new floss tuber doing the heartstring samplery piece that I have. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know lots of people in floss tube land have done that, and they've done it with pretty much the recommended threads and fabrics and things. She was going to switch hers out for silks. It's going to be gorgeous. But as you know, mine is, I've converted to more modern colors. Here I am picking on the modern color palette, and I've converted mine to cleaner, brighter colors. But I want to get back to doing that one. I keep thinking of it. I want to do all of the ones I've started. I want to do all the ones I haven't started that I'm surrounded with here. But if I can just get through things. I'm going to pause you for a moment. This is going way longer than I thought. I have one more thing to show you. Just a minute. That was longer than a minute, but you'll never know because it was a second to you. What I wanted to grab to show you was, I think, on that floss sale, I'm going to look for the floss for these two. Because I showed them to you long ago. I got them at my Not So Local Needlework shop, and they're just beautiful, and I have the linen for them, and yeah, I'd like to have those kitted up so that I can make them, you know, in my 4th lifetime. And while I was grabbing things, this is something else I saw at my Not So Local Needlework shop on the back of another chart, and they did not have it available. But it was so cute, I kept looking at places like eBay, and I finally purchased it. And I'm showing it to you mainly because I know you all like to see new things sometimes, and I don't know if that one's out there in flosstube land. It's X's and O's, Dragon Moon. There's just something so expressive in his face. And this is the bunny hop that I mentioned that Colbin had, that I had to go out and buy the minute I saw hers. I love bunnies. Okay, so more than half of that was haul. If you didn't like haul, I hope you were smart enough to turn off at some point. I hope to maybe do a video during Mania just to show you how it's going. I may wait till after the 18 days and show you what happened. I may try to do a day where I give that 18, 18, 18 a try. And I would pause. I wouldn't make you watch, but it would be sort of a stitch-along thing where I say, okay, here's where I am. 18 minutes later, here's where I am. Here's what I'm doing next. I don't know. It might or might not be interesting for you all to see just what could be accomplished on those pieces in an 18-minute time span. I thought about it. We'll see if we do that. Otherwise, I'll just show you where I get in my 5 hours and 24 minutes on each WIP. And I really want to make progress on them because I need to make all these other things. I've shown you so much in my 20-odd videos on flosstube. And I can't say it's only the tip of the iceberg because it's a pretty good chunk of the iceberg, but folks, there's a lot more. There's so much more I haven't showed you. Yeah, not well. Not well. So I think that's it for me today. The sun has come out, so maybe I didn't need this other lamp. I hope that the colors were okay. I will check the video and make sure you can see what you need to see. And I think I covered everything I intended to. So you have a great week, month, life, and I'll be back sometime. Keep making those videos. Keep watching if you're just a viewer, because this is all for you guys. It's not about us. It's about spreading the craft and spreading the joy and showing things that other people want to see. So I hope that you saw something interesting in there. And I've been enjoying all the videos I've watched, and I'll be seeing you in the future. So thank you very much, or at least you'll be seeing me, and I'll be watching you. Bye.